take questions.
Obviously, what I anticipated stayed true to form. Felt like first practice, we would be organized, knowing what to do. Problem is, the execution of it wasn't very good. And with that being said, this is why you go through this. There's a process in football, as we all know. I'm not naive. I've been in enough football practices and coached enough football in my lifetime that the things that are taught in the classroom have to register on the field. And when that doesn't happen, fundamentally, it becomes not hard to watch, but teachable moments. And we'll look at the film today. We will go back and review it as a staff. We will grade the errors, obviously. A lot of errors, a lot of balls on the ground offensively. That doesn't surprise me. They haven't caught the ball defensively, out of position at times. It's a new defense, not making excuses. That's just the reality of it. But I thought one thing that looked to me that is a good sign is there was effort. It doesn't take talent to have effort. This game is about effort. It's always been about effort. It's about our will, not our skill. And for the most part, guys gave effort, and that's a good thing. That's a start. But there's a long way to go. We got a lot more football to take care of. And I thought the first day was a little bit shocking to some guys because of the speed of how we want to play, especially on defense. And that's not going to be, won't be tolerated if you don't live up to the expectations. There's going to be expectations set on those guys a little tougher than the offense. I told them that last Friday before they went on spring break. I said, I'm the head coach, but remember this, I wear a defensive hat. And what I expect out of you is excellence. There's going to be a standard set. You're going to have to meet it. And if you don't, you're not going to participate. You're not going on the field. Real simple. So no one got hurt, which is always good. So we'll continue to practice.
You know, Coach, say high school all-star game for one of our players. What was it like for you personally? You back out there, first time, I guess.
Got a lot of phone calls, actually, this weekend, from a lot of former players, from people I worked with in television, from coaches as well. And they wish me a lot of luck. They said, enjoy it, coach. I said, don't worry about it. This day couldn't get here fast enough for me. To finally get my feet back on the grass and the whistle. I always say you have a whistle. And to orchestrate practice and just to watch it through my eyes, this is what I know. My whole life has been this. I've been very fortunate. I've always been involved in practices for over 30 years. As an athlete, as a coach, as a scout. That's my world. When I walk on the field, that's familiar to me. It's something I'm very comfortable participating in, whether it was being a coach, a head coach, an assistant coach, a scout, a former athlete. That's the world I grew up in. And when you walk away from it for a while, you miss it. You miss walking up to a young man and looking in his eyes and say, job well done. You miss the coaching part of it. You miss that. I mean, there's nothing takes the place of that. So it was a fun day for me too.
Herm, you said that you want your players to have personality. You want to have fun out there. So how do you balance it? There's a little bit different vibe than we've seen around here.
You think?
Like you were having some fun.
You think?
Yeah. How do you balance that?
That's just
with
me. Well,
keeping
you make a great point, and there's a line they can't cross. And I think the more they're around me, the more they will familiarize themselves with, okay, we can go so far, but we're not going that far. You always want to honor the game as a coach and as a player. You play it that way, you coach it that way. It's a game of enthusiasm. It's a game of frustration at times. How do you get rid of that? You got to play the next play. It's kind of like life. Every play, there's going to be an outcome. Someone's going to be happy on one side of the ball, other guys are going to be not so happy. And that's where the coaching comes in, and that's what you enjoy about it, you know. And for me, they've been around me now for 2 months, and they've been around me a lot because I'm everywhere. As I said, I'm in the cafeteria, I'm in the locker room, I'm in the weight room. I've been around these guys. They're in my office all the time now. They know who their coach is. They know the line that you can't cross.
Some of them were enjoying the music. You were dancing yourself, I think.
That's my song right there. They had been messing with me all week. Said, Coach, we go play your song, because that's the one I listen to in the weight room at about 4:30 in the morning. And first time out, they said, Coach, we're playing your song. I said, I appreciate it. Just let me have it one time, and after that, we can go. But you got to have fun with this. I mean,
Which song was that, by the way?
Yeah. It's all about the money, right? There's some lyrics in there that are kind of funny to me. So,
how did you feel just about the way your staff worked together and just the way practice kind of
well,
functioned from that standpoint?
Understand this. I'm kind of a detailed and an organized guy. As the story goes, we walked through practice as a coaching staff on Thursday. We actually literally went out there and walked through every period. And then Friday, believe it or not, the team walked through. So that's just part of it, because I just feel like it needs to be organized. There's a time set on every practice where we want to get in and get out. We want to have an efficient practice. We want to stress them mentally with how we practice, and physically of the way we run to the ball and participate when the whistle's not being blown. And so that's football. That's the game of football. It's a fast-moving game. And so we actually practice as coaches, believe it or not. We walked over there, we had a walkthrough, say, this is field 1, this is field 2, this is where the offense does their drills, this is where we stretch. We actually literally walked through a whole practice. And then we brought the players over Friday, and before they left, I said, this is what practice is going to look like. And we walked through every period. So for the most part, it was pretty smooth.
Coach, what was your approach to learning about the personnel that you're inheriting? Did you watch a lot of their practices or games last year? Or?
Watch the games, and the carryover for the offensive staff was good, because there's some coaches still here. And meeting with Coach Likens and the crew that was here last year, that helped. Knowing what they're asked to do. Defensively now a little different, because the whole system's different. But athletically, we're looking for athletes. We have some on defense. There's no doubt about that. Now we're asking them to do something a little bit different. So we've got a pretty good idea of who they are. As I told the guys today, don't lose sight of this. There's 21 more guys coming in here. And they're coming in here to take a job from somebody. So don't get comfortable. I mean, that's how it works. And I told them, I said, there's going to be 5 or 6 guys that walk in this room that they're not looking to be the backup guy. So you got an advantage right now, because you're practicing. They're not here, but they're coming. And when they come, we'll even look even more different. And it'll be interesting to see when you folks come out there and watch and go, okay, we know who he's talking about right now. I ain't gonna mention their names, but they're coming.
So in general, did you expect on offense things to run smoother just because of just a lot of returning personnel, returning coaches?
And you do, and the system's in place for the most part. Now it's a little bit different under Coach Likens. We're going to get under center more. We're going to run the ball a little bit more as well. But here again, it was sloppy. And offense is always sloppy early, because they play with the ball. That's the problem, right? One guy gets the ball and he has to either hand it off or throw it to somebody. So there's some sloppiness to it, and you anticipate that. Defensively, I think the thing we'll realize, and I think those guys realize, that if you watch this practice, they got to run to the ball now. It's like you really got to run to the ball, because now we'll watch the film, and I told them, I said, the great thing about football is that every time you practice, you actually autograph your performance. The film doesn't lie. I mean, no one's wearing your jersey. That's you actually wearing the jersey. So we know who you are. And if you get called out tomorrow in the meeting for not hustling, understand why.
Can the depth chart be impacted in this way?
As far as what now, you said?
As far as first or second, can the depth chart be?
Well, I think this is what happens. Look, we're not naive here. We know who the good players are. Okay? Now it's just a matter of how do we continue to develop guys behind them, and how do we take the guys that are good players to make great players. I've always said this, I said, don't be afraid to be great. But now there's some work involved in it too. And so I think the guys that we have here, we're about recruiting and developing. And there'll be a new crew of 21 guys that walk in this room. And I'm not gonna mention who they are, but I anticipate 6 of them to start. They're not even here yet. They haven't even took a snap. Now, I could be off base, but just what I've seen, what I know about it, they got a chance to start. Now, the guys in front of them right now, hold on to your job. Don't give it to them. It's about competition. I told them, I said, football has always been about competition. You have to compete every day. You have to compete every day. That's the way it works for me. That's all I know. That's the world I lived in. That's the world I grew up in. That's what I know. They're going to be charged to compete every day because that film doesn't lie. I listen to my eyes. I watch practice, I listen to my eyes. And it tells me that player, good players. That player, not living up to his potential. It's up to me to help him. But if not, if somebody passes him up, I'm playing the guy that passes him up. It's real simple.
In the beginning stages of the new defensive plan, what do you want to see the defense really accomplish as they're starting to learn it?
Well, obviously, alignment, assignment, and then after that is effort. There has to be effort. It does, even if you're wrong, show effort. Defensively, if you're going to be a great tackling team, you have to have effort. You have to know where to miss. Because if you miss correctly, there should be 9 other guys running to the ball to help you tackle the guy. And you watch today, a lot of times we missed on the wrong side. Whether it was a linebacker, whether it was a corner, whether it was a safety. We'll teach that. They don't know that yet. This is what's great about coaching. I told them after practice, I said, look, this is why we get paid. We get paid to coach. We get paid to help you, actually. So don't be discouraged. Be encouraged that we want to help you, and then that's kind of how we coach.
Yeah, Coach, I noticed that you're definitely a hands-on coach. But
Really?
I was looking,
Did you notice that the first day?
I was looking for your energy to kind of wane, but for more than 2 hours, it didn't matter. You got in there. You continue to provide this. I mean, is that something that will be consistent every practice, or does your energy say it's time for you to take a step back?
First of all, I started this morning at 4:30 with my workout. You were not there, by the way. You can always join me if you like. That's my personality. That's who I am. I mean, you don't. I told the coaches, I said, look, you don't have to worry about bringing energy. I got it. And the players, and I say this as a former player, you want that. That's your juice. You like that. I mean, I was a football player first before I was a coach. You know, I know how to play football. I know how to coach football. That's what I do. And so that's just who I am. I mean, football is a strange game because when you think about it, you practice more than you play. You actually practice the game of football more than you play. And how you learn to become a great football player is out there when no one's watching. It's just practice. And you have to have energy to do that. This is a game that you need energy, but you need focus. So there's this energy that has to happen, but there's also this focus of what it needs to be done so you can orchestrate what you need to do. So you can come out here every day, and if you don't want to come out here, you can have a camera out there every day. I'll be that way every day. I will not change. That's who I am.
Anyone else?